sit down.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants, and of course I am your host, Mr. Main Event himself, the often imitated, never duplicated superstar Tim Vicious. And we're gonna go over Monday Night Raw was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, before we do, want to remind everyone on how we pay these funny little gimmicks called bills, and the best way to help support the show is, first and foremost, Vicious Rants merch. Go to whatamaneuver.net. There is a link in the description tab. Folks, I cannot joke around enough. These are oh so comfortable. These shirts are so comfortable. I love them. I love them. My family is sick and tired of me giving them out as gifts to everyone all the time, but I kid you not, they are. We have t-shirts, we have tanks, we have women's tees, we have toddler tees, we have baby onesies, and folks, we do have that. We are coming up to the fall season. Winter is right around the corner, and like I said, we do have those long sleeves that will help you, that will help keep you oh so nice and warm. It's a perfect gift to somebody that you love. If it's somebody that you don't like, hey, give it to them as a gift, as a I hate you gift. But if you want to hold on to that special shirt, you know that shirt I'm talking about, that shirt you've had for 10, 15, 20 plus years, that means the world to you, that has so many core memories tied to it. But you're being told by either a family member or a significant other, you have to give some laundry away for charity. Well, instead of giving away that special shirt, buy a Vicious Rant shirt. Give it to charity. That way, some needy person out there in the world could use that extra shirt. Just saying. Perfect gift for somebody you love, somebody you hate, or just go ahead and give it to Goodwill, Salvation Army, or whatever charity organization you want, and give it to them. Help out. Also, folks, we are WWE Shop affiliates. Excuse me. We are WWE Shop affiliates. So what that means is, if you want to make a purchase off of WWE Shop's website, all you got to do, you go in the description tab, click the link, or if you're watching the video, scan that QR code right there on screen. Yes, that one. That one I am pointing to right there. You scan that QR code, it takes you to WWE Shop. Once you're there, you make whatever purchase you want off of the website. You do that, and then we here at the Vicious Studios receive a small nominal commission. So what that means is, you make a purchase for whatever item you want, whether it's a Jey Uso Yeet shirt, or if it's a LA Knight Yeah sweatband, or if it's a replica title even. You want to get a replica of WWE's Big Gold, the World Heavyweight. You want to get a replica of the WCW United States Heavyweight title. Because, I mean, let's be honest, what promotion does not have a copy of WCW's US title? Exactly. So, if you're going to go and make a purchase off of there, use our WWE Shop affiliate link. It helps us improve this show for you guys down the road. And I cannot stress that enough. Now that we've gone over all that chilling, let's switch gears and talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind. And the big highlights from last week's SmackDown, it is the Fallout SmackDown to WrestlePalooza. And it started out with my Xavier, Paul Heyman, coming out, addressing the crowd, hyping them up for the upcoming match at Crown Jewel with Seth Elizabeth Rollins, because his middle name is not frickin' damn it, going up against one Cody Raleigh Russell Reynolds the 23rd, baby. The son of the plumber, if you will. But he's hyping them up. Cody then comes out to interject to speak to Mr. Heyman and asks him, I'm just curious, who am I speaking to? Am I speaking to the Oracle? Am I speaking to the wise man? Or am I speaking to the advocate? And a lot of talk has been brought up about with Brock Lesnar, because some people are saying, oh, Brock's done. He was a one-time show just for that match. That was it. Nothing's more in line, tied up, blah, 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 blah. Here's my personal take. I think they're going to put Brock on the side, and they're going to have some small little whispers of him here and there. And they're going to build up something between Brock and Cody again down the line. Which I honestly would not mind. I wouldn't mind seeing that again. Those two put on some good matches before. Why not again? That being said, Paul then addressed him by answering, you're talking to the greatest of all time. I'm the GOAT. Which I may be a bit biased. Well, maybe I am a bit biased because, well, I grew up in the land of extreme with ECW just a few blocks from my house. But yeah, Paul is the greatest of all time. Because ECW aside, look at his management repertoire. Everyone he's been a manager with. He's got such a high success rate with being a manager. Not just with world champions, but just guys that have gotten over and guys that have elevated their game. Just in general. I mean, good examples. Look at the Dangerous Alliance in WCW. He had a modern day version of the Four Horsemen. He was J.J. Dillon. He had Rick Rude, Larry Zbyszko, Steve Austin. Yeah, you go over that, right? Then we go over to when he was working in WWF. It was just, yeah. But I could go on. I'm getting sidetracked. My producer behind the camera, Wade, is pretty much doing everything short, but smoke signals telling me to get back on track. I'm sorry, Wade. Let's get on with the show. But as he says he's the GOAT. Then we wind up getting the Bronze. We get Reed and Breaker coming out to go and run interference like, Cody, you're about 5 seconds away from getting put on the ass end of an ass beating. So why don't you do yourself a favor, turn around, and shoot, boy. Cody's just looking. Oh, I know on how this is going to go. I don't care. Let's go ahead. We do this. Takes the title off. Takes his suit jacket off. Takes his watch off. Rolls his sleeves up and then just wham! Throws a punch. He starts swinging at anything with two legs and a heartbeat. And he's holding his own fairly decent for a minute. Then it becomes a 2-on-1 beatdown. And then Cody gets saved by somebody who miraculously hears voices in his head. He gets saved by Randall Kenneth Orton himself. So, yeah. I'm guessing we're going to get a tag match with Randy and Cody against the Bronsons at some point. If not that, then maybe a potential partner for maybe a War Games down the road. I mean, November is right around the corner. Moving forward, though, the other highlights from SmackDown. There was a number one contenders tag title match, the Street Profits versus Miz and Mello. I'm going to say this about that, and I'm not the only one that's been talking about this. Everyone in the Main Event Network, we have all been talking about this and screaming it to the high heavens. Angelo, by God, Dawkins is so criminally underappreciated. Not even underrated, underappreciated. Everyone talks about Montez Ford. He's got a killer physique. He's got killer mic skills. He's amazing in the ring. Yes, he is all that, and I'm not denying that. But my God, you look at Angelo Dawkins, man. Doc can go. He's a big guy, but he can fly, he can move, and he can talk. He's got all the tools. And say this in the right way. When Street Profits start to go solo, I am so looking forward to that first solo title win Doc gets. Ain't no lie on that. Street Profits got the win from that tag title match, so they're the number one contenders. They'll be going against the Wyatts sometime relatively soon. We also had Julia and Kiana James going up against Michin and BFAB. Julia and Kiana wound up getting a win, which I can't even honestly say Julia and Kiana are like the odd couple, or like an odd couple tag team, because I don't see on how they fit. I get they're saying that Kiana is Julia's business advisor, but I'm just trying to piece together, when did Julia look like she needed any kind of advising on business to begin with? You know? Maybe I'm overthinking it because I have a bad habit of that, but that's just me. We had Sami Zayn doing another open challenge, and this time his challenger was Bouncy. We had the young OG from NXT himself, Javon Evans, answering the call. And folks, if you have not watched NXT, I get not everyone watches NXT because they're, for lack of a better term, they're the farm league. They're the farm league. Not everyone wants to watch minor league team. Not everyone wants to watch minor league games. That's okay. I'm not going to argue it. If you haven't though, I would recommend you do, just to check out Javon, because the kid can, honest to God, go. And he is a hell of a talent. He's a hell of an athlete. And it's hard to believe, but the kid is barely even old enough to rent a car or drink a beer. And that's the part that amazes me on how good he is, just to begin with. And his match with Sami was just, wow. I don't think the NXT Night Shift crew on the Main Event Network could put over Javon any better than I did. I'm pretty sure they're gonna, but I don't think they... I'm fairly certain they're gonna, but my God, Javon is just that big talent. I guarantee within the next 5-6 years, you're gonna be having kids saying you're gonna be having kids saying they want to go and do stuff like Evans. Ain't no doubt on that. Now, the main event of SmackDown was the women's triple threat match. It was Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Nia Jackson. Ooh, wow. Well, there was a lot of people wound up. This match did not hit very well. There was some missed spots and some bad spots that happened. Like Jade wound up getting planted on the step and her face got gashed up really bad. She's got a giant gash over around near her eyebrow. She was all busted up, bloody. She looked like somebody poured she almost looked like out of that scene from Carrie, and the prom scene from Carrie. Not gonna lie on that one. And then Nia missed kicking out on a 3 count at the end with a pin. And a lot of fans were screaming and yelling on the net, on the interweb, on how Nia botched, she's a horrible wrestler, blah, 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 she should be fired. The ref didn't count it, she should be fired, blah, 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 blah. No. No. No, 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 no. And furthermore, no. Shut up, just like the song says, shut up, sit down, because Professor Vicious is about to school you, boys. That was a very rare slip on that part, and I get a lot of people say, oh, the ref should have just counted anyway. Okay, I get that, but here's the thing. There was an interview that got said before. I don't remember exactly who, but I know I heard it. There was an interview said before that when refs slip up like that, the referees themselves got fined. Now, granted, that was in the VKM era. I don't know if that's the same now under Triple H and the TKO regime, but if that's the case, I wouldn't want to do something to run the risk of getting fined X amount of dollars either. No more or less than anyone else would. You know? And not only that, how does that help anyone? Really? And I get Nia probably felt like shit and was kicking her own ass. But that's like the first big major mistake she's made in God knows how long. In a long time. So, again, with the internet crowd that wants to scream and yell all the time, the very loud vocal minority, because that's exactly what they are. They are the loud vocal minority. Because, keep in mind, the pro wrestling fans that are actually going out of their way to go pump money into the machine day in and day out because they love and support it, are either going to ignore that kind of bias or are somewhere between 12 and 19 and really just want to go and enjoy a show. You know? But that said, that's it for the SmackDown Rewind. So let's get into this week's show, Raw, Raleigh, North Carolina. Now, it started out with Rhea Bloody Ripley coming out addressing what happened to her last week. Now, I didn't mention it on the show last week, but Rhea had a match against Asuka. At the end, Asuka Asuka sprayed mist at Rhea, and Rhea wound up turning blue like a Smurf, or like one of those things from Avatar. Depending on how old you are, you'll get either reference. And then Rhea, she was just straight up pissed, because after that, then Asuka and Kairi proceeded to go and do a beatdown, and Io was just like, what's going on? What? My friends, what? Then Io came out to talk to Rhea, saying, listen, they're my family. I love them. I don't want this to happen. You're my friend. They're my family. I just want all of us to get along. And then we see on the Titantron, Asuka and Kairi, Asuka saying, Io, I taught you everything I know. You are one of my best students. I absolutely love you. We are a family. You want all of this done. You want all debts forgiven. You want this to be all water under the bridge. All you have to do is just apologize. Apologize for joining with Rhea and come back with us. And we'll be one big happy family again. That's all you have to do. But if you don't, well, then you're not going to be with this family. I'm sorry. That's all it is. And then, next thing you know, out of nowhere, they're standing here. Asuka and Kairi come up from behind. Asuka then miss Io, which, again, should have been me. It should have been me, Wade. Should have been me. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that, because if I go in further detail, I'm going to get sent to HR again. Ugh, not looking for another one of those kind of meetings. Moving on. After that, they proceeded to go and do a beatdown again. And then chatter wound up getting done backstage, blah, blah, blah. I talked to Piers. I know me and you both got issues with this one and this one, so we're going to do this and this. And at Crown Jewel, we are going to have, excuse me, Rhea Ripley and Io Sky against Kairi Sane and Asuka. Oh, love it. So, on to the first match tonight. We got Rusev going up against Dirty Dominik Mysterio for his coveted Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And by God, two-belt Dom coming on down. He came down, he had JD and Finn with him, and once he got to the ring, they just both were like, we're good, man. Hey, you got this, man. You got this, alright? We're gonna go. We'll see you later. Later, man. So they go. Dom tried to fight Rusev right at the start, but it was like the equivalent of fighting a brick wall, which he was throwing punches, just... Yeah, that's all it was. You could hear it, and Rusev just looking like, is it my turn now? Okay, I crush you now. And Dom, he played to his strengths as best he could. He ran, he ducked, dodged, did quick attacks here and there, but Rusev was powering and leading right up into the break. Post-break, there was a good back and forth action, and I gotta tell you, probably the biggest thing I noticed out of this, and I watch wrestling different than most people. When I'm watching, I do 60% of the... When I'm watching, 60% of my attention is to the action in the ring. The other 40% is to the crowd. Because I want to see how the crowd's taken to it. Because, yeah, I know what I like, and I know who I'm cheering for. But I want to see, hey, are these people really interested in this? Or are they piping in cheers or boos or what or huh? And Dom got a pop when he got out, and he got a pop at the end. Because at the end, partway through the end, as the match came to an end, Dom was just like, you know what, I'm fuck this shit, I'm done. He went, got his Intercontinental title, got his AAA Mega title, went to go walk away. Rusev slid out the ring, he's like, no, we're getting back in. Throws him back in. Ref grabs the AAA title to go and hand it back to the timekeeper. As he's doing that, cracks Rusev with it, tosses the title, and then goes to do a Los Guerrero. But as he tosses him the title, that's when the ref turns around and he's just like, hey, what's this? I just saw you do that. No, we're not doing that. So he goes, takes the title off Rusev, goes to hand it back to the timekeeper again. Dom goes to try and argue with the ref. Rusev goes to body splash Dom, but Dom actually shields the ref from getting splashed. And as he's doing that, boom, mule kicks Rusev right in the gonads, and then does a quick roll up. 1, 2, 3. So your winner, and still WWE Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Dirty Dominik Mysterio. And my God, that boy really did just live up to his family legacy. He truly is pulling off a great. He did pull off a Los Guerrero. Because even if he couldn't do it the traditional way, he pulled it off in his way. Next up, we got women's action. Bayley, sorry folks, going up against Raquel Rodriguez. Whew, big mommy cool. And Raquel, she was powering and leading at the start, right up into the break. Post-break, Bayley, she was leading. It was good action. Roxanne was there ringside for Raquel. Match came to an end when Bayley went to go. Bayley had a figure 4 locked in, and you could see you could see Roxanne, easy for me to say, trying to push the rope closer, trying to reach out to grab Raquel, to pull her to the ropes for a rope break. All the while the ref is yelling at Roxanne, no, no, no. And she's on the side like this. And then eventually she has enough and then goes and boom, literally plants herself right in between Roxanne and Raquel. As she's checking on Raquel, Roxanne runs around to the other end, rakes Bayley's eyes. So then once Raquel gets up, grabs her by the throat, hoists her up, Tahana bomb, 1, 2, 3, that is it. Post-match, there's a beatdown that happens, but she gets sick, but Bayley winds up getting saved by Lyra. So, yeah. Next up, we got the megastar whose name everybody's saying, and it is L.A. Knight. Yeah. Going up against Kofi Kingston, and this came to be because of a backstage skirmish. Knight was talking to Pierce saying he wants a World Heavyweight match. against Seth after Crown Jewel. The New Day came in demanding a tag match. Knight was telling them, hey, listen, grown-ups are talking here. Why don't you kids go and leave? Excuse me, you're asking for a world title match, all the while somebody in here was actually a former world champion, so why don't you leave? Thank you. Yeah, you were a former world champion. You were before, never gonna be again. All the while, I'm gonna be. I'm a future champ. Tell you what, you want action, you want results, why don't you put that goof in the ring with me out there tonight? Yeah. And then we get to the match. So, as far as this match went, really good, solid brawling with Kofi leading right into the break. Knight was leading post-break, and they did mention it. I didn't even know until they mentioned it in that little segment that I talked about. Waller is out. Apparently he got hit. His neck was wrecked. I don't know if it's legit or a work, but yeah. I'm hoping it's a work and that, just randomly he comes back. Oh my God, it's a miracle, but either way. Especially with Woods just after getting surgery to get a giant mass taken out from the back of his head. So, yeah. Kind of scary. But either way. Knight, he was leading post-break. Decent match. It came to an end when Kofi, he was starting to build up a small comeback, went to go for the Trouble in Paradise. Knight countered it, grabbed him. Boom! BFT. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! And that is not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah. Next up, we got Uncle Allen, AJ Styles with Dragon Lee going up against Los Americanos. That is El Grande Americanos partners. And before the match happened, there was a small little promo with Dragon Lee saying that he's honored and happy to be teaming with AJ Styles, a phenomenal one and all. AJ wound up talking about on how he's excited for Crown Jewel because he gets to do one of his favorite things in the world, and that is beat up John Cena. Sorry, I had to do that joke because it's been a while. But either way. Look, the Los Americanos, those guys are Bravo and Rio, I believe the name was. One wears a blue mask, one wears a red mask, but either way. It was good action, really good. Now, Los Americanos, they were leading up into the commercial break. Post-break, Dragon Lee, he was the punching bag for a quick minute. And then Uncle Allen wound up getting the hot tag in. Styles, he wound up wrecking shit up, cleaning up house. Match came to an end when AJ wound up hitting the Styles Clash on Bravo for the 1, 2, 3. That was it. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Now we come to the main event of the night. It was the Usos, yay, going up against the Brons, Bronson Reed, and the big bad booty nephew himself, Bron Breakker. And this match was contested under Tornado Tag Rules, which means all competitors are in the ring are legal men at all points in time. Excuse me. Now, the Usos wound up attacking them before the bell rang, and then the match started. The Brons, they were leading up into the commercial break when Jim wound up actually getting plowed through their speak right, motherfucker, through the newly reinforced announce tables. I'm going to eventually get this episode right, folks, and I'm not going to slip on nothing. Right, Wade? Wade, can you put the phone down? I'm sure your high score on Block Blast can wait. This is what you get when you don't hire a union, folks. Either way. Yeah, Jimmy Uso wound up actually, Bron putting Jimmy through the announce table. I believe, if memory best serves, outside of the PLEs, that's the first time on what they've now announced as the newly reinforced tables. Somebody has been broken through it. So, little bit of interesting random wrestling trivia. Jimmy Uso and Bron Breakker were the first wrestlers to break the new reinforced tables. But post-break, Jay, he was on one-sided on the ass end of an ass kicking something fierce. Like you wouldn't believe, and it looked like all hope was lost. Oh, woe is Jey Uso, and then doom. We get the return of the OTC himself, Roman Reigns. He comes out, chair in hand, swings it, takes out Breakker, cracks the chair over Reed, breaks it over him, something fierce. And then next thing you know, Jimmy winds up getting a second win. And then they do the double Uso splash onto Bron Breakker for the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Roman, he goes and he's just jamming the chair into Breakker's ribs and such, making sure he sends a message. Afterwards, he goes up to Jay, just like that, embracing him like, this is what I said before, right? This is what I said. You don't look out for anyone else, right? Just looking out for number one. You take care of yourself, man. And again, I keep repeating this time and time and time again, and I've been saying this since they started doing this. This is all a callback, because we're eventually going to get the video playback on TV at some point. Roman saying, Jay, you don't understand. My job was to get us to the promised land. Your job is to keep us there. Wise man, refresh my memory. Who gave him the name Main Event Jey Uso? Yeah, we're going to get all of that. It's just a matter of when. So, with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. So, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back watch some of the episodes on our YouTube page when you can. If you're listening to this on audio form, please like the video, give a 5-star review if you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple. Share it with your friends. We're trying to build the audio platform. Look for me out there all across social media. Tim Vicious. Thank you to contributor to the show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. They're a little bit of fighting, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Thank you. Also, folks, don't forget to follow these cool-ass cats right here on the Twitter. DSB_IV, Main Event _net, the Main Event Wrestling Network account. Sergeant Curry Pants, 3 Count Thursday, D Dryer 1986. Folks, like I said, I am on all the socials as Tim Vicious. And like I always tell you, if you love me, great. And if you hate me, well, shut up and sit down. Fuck yous.